Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, you and I step once more into the quiet edge of wonder, into a space where science becomes a story, and where the mysteries of the universe open softly, like a sky full of unfolding stars. This journey is not just about facts. It is about feeling them, about letting galaxies, dreams, and hidden truths flow through you like calm rivers of thought. Every chapter we share is written to ease your mind, to slow your breathing, and to guide you gently toward rest, while still awakening the spark of curiosity within. If these stories bring you peace, or fill you with awe, I invite you to help this circle grow. A simple like lets others discover this calm space. A quiet share might be the gift of rest to someone who needs it tonight. Your comments are like echoes among the stars. I read them with care, and they remind me that we wander these mysteries together. And by pressing subscribe, you ensure that each new voyage, each new story of space, science, and self finds its way to you. Your presence here matters. Together, we are more than listeners. We are seekers, dreamers, explorers of the infinite dot. So now, settle in. Let the noise of the day drift away. And let us begin this night's story, slowly, gently, endlessly unfolding. You drift into the universe, where invisible threads hold galaxies together. Dark matter is unseen, yet it quietly cradles the stars in its vast arms. It is everywhere, and yet it slips past your eyes like a forgotten dream. Scientists listen, wonder, and reach, but the silence remains. Close your eyes and imagine the night sky spread wide above you. Millions of stars shimmer like scattered pearls across black velvet. Each star burns with its own light. Each galaxy swirls in graceful spirals. And yet, beneath this beauty lies a secret, a truth so quiet, so invisible that even now it escapes our eyes. You are floating among the galaxies, drifting gently in the great sea of the cosmos. The stars around you seem countless, yet they are only islands in a much larger ocean. And here, between them, something unseen moves, something vast and patient, shaping the universe itself. Scientists call it dark matter dot. It is not dark because it is evil, not dark because it is shadowed. It is dark because it does not shine. It gives off no light, no warmth, no signal we can capture with our instruments. It simply slips past our senses like air through open fingers. Yet strangely, it is everywhere. It holds galaxies together, the way invisible glue might hold a fragile sculpture in place. Without it, stars at the edges of galaxies would drift away into space, like leaves caught in the wind, but they do not. They remain bound, spinning too fast for visible matter alone to explain. Something unseen, something enormous, must be there. You can think of it as scaffolding. Imagine building a cathedral from sand, delicate arches, and rising towers. If you tried without support, the structure would collapse. But with hidden beams, strong yet unseen, the walls remain upright. The spires reach higher. Dark matter is that hidden scaffolding of the universe. Scientists first suspected it in the 1930s, when an astronomer named Fritz Zwicky studied the Coma cluster of galaxies. He noticed the galaxies inside were moving too quickly, spinning too wildly, as if tugged by an unseen hand. By all calculations, they should have scattered apart like sparks from a fire. And yet they remained clustered, bound together. The only explanation was that there was more matter than the eye could see. Something vast, invisible, present. Years later, astronomer Vera Rubin measured the rotation curves of galaxies, how stars move at different distances from their galactic centers. She found something astonishing. At the edges of galaxies, stars should have slowed down, pulled less strongly by gravity. Instead, they raced around at the same speeds as stars near the center. It was as if some unseen mass was stretching across the galaxy, holding it tight, whispering in silence, "Stay." This invisible mass is not rare. In fact, it outweighs all the stars, all the planets, all the glowing dust you can see. For every particle of visible matter, every atom in your body, every spark in a star, there are about 5 particles of dark matter. 5 times more of the universe is unseen than seen. Imagine walking into a grand library, shelves stretching endlessly, and discovering that the books you can read are only one small corner of the collection. The rest, hidden, silent, closed, remain unreadable, yet their presence is undeniable. And yet, despite its abundance, no one knows exactly what dark matter is. Some imagine it as particles, weakly interacting massive particles, or WIMPs. They would drift through you, through the earth, through everything, without leaving a trace. Others imagine lighter particles called axions, slipping like ghosts through the fabric of space. Still others wonder if our very understanding of gravity itself is incomplete, that perhaps what we call dark matter is not matter at all, but a flaw in our equations that no one knows. Experiments deep underground search for it. Scientists build detectors beneath mountains, shielded from cosmic rays, waiting for the rare moment when a dark matter particle might brush against ordinary matter and leave the faintest spark. So far, silence. They listen, and the darkness remains quiet. But silence, too, is an answer. Each attempt teaches us what dark matter is not, narrowing the field, deepening the mystery. Think of it like standing at the edge of a vast forest at night. You cannot see the animals within, but you hear rustles in the leaves, sense the shadows moving, know something stirs. You reach out with lanterns, traps, devices, and though you may not catch a glimpse, you know the forest is alive. Forest of the universe is alive with dark matter dot, and so you drift, floating along the edges of a galaxy. You watch the stars move, held by invisible arms. You imagine dark matter as a soft web, stretching across space, weaving galaxies into a cosmic net. It is not threatening, not harsh. It is gentle, patient, essential. Without it, the universe as you know it could not exist. The stars would scatter, planets would wander, even your own Milky Way would unravel. Dark matter is the silent architecture of everything you love, and yet you cannot touch it. You cannot taste it, smell it, or feel it. It does not shine, does not burn, does not glow. It exists in mystery, like a secret kept just out of reach. Perhaps you wonder why it matters. Why does it matter if we cannot see it, if it does not touch our daily lives? But in truth, you are touched by it constantly. The shape of your galaxy, the very presence of your night sky, depends upon this hidden substance. The stars above your head are arranged as they are because of the quiet pull of dark matter. Your existence is shaped by something you cannot see, cannot sense, cannot name. And that realization is both humbling and soothing. It reminds you that mystery is not always distant. Mystery is here, present in every breath, every star, every night dot. As you drift deeper into thought, you realize how human it is to long for answers. To ask, what is it? Why is it here? But perhaps part of the beauty of dark matter is that it resists the light of certainty. It reminds you that not everything must be solved to be meaningful. That sometimes wonder itself is enough. The stars continue to spin. The galaxies turn like great wheels of fire. And you, a small traveler in this vast ocean, are carried along. By currents you cannot see, you rest in that thought that the unseen is as real as the seen. That what cradles you is more than what you can measure. That the universe holds its secrets not to hide them, but to keep you listening, reaching, dreaming. And just when your thoughts begin to quiet, another whisper arrives. Not from matter, but from memory. Not from the weight of the unseen, but from the sound of the past. For if dark matter is the invisible scaffolding of the universe, then there is also a deeper music, a song left over from the moment of creation itself. And so, softly, you begin to drift toward the next mystery, the faint, ancient hum of the cosmos. Imagine the after-echo of creation, a lullaby sung 13 billion years ago. It hums gently in the fabric of space, the faintest whisper of the Big Bang. Your mind rests inside this ancient glow, older than all memory. You float in its song, and the mystery deepens. Imagine, for a moment, that you are standing in a quiet room. There is no movement, no voices, no footsteps. At first, it seems utterly silent. But if you listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your whole being, you begin to notice something soft, something faint. A low hum, like the memory of sound, still lingers in the air. Now, stretch that room into the universe. Stretch it across time itself. The silence of space, too, is not truly silent. It carries an ancient hum, a faint glow, the last breath of a fire that once burned brighter than anything else. This is the cosmic microwave background, the oldest light you can ever touch. You are drifting now, gently, as if cradled by the stars. The universe around you is vast, but in your mind's eye, you travel back to a time before galaxies, before stars, before even the atoms in your body had come together. You are gliding toward the very beginning. 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was born in a great eruption of energy and light, the Big Bang. But the name is misleading. It was not an explosion in space, like fireworks in the night sky. It was the sudden expansion of space itself. In the first tiny fraction of a second, the universe stretched faster than imagination, faster than light, faster than any sound, you know. From nothingness, a cosmic symphony began. In those first moments, everything was on fire. The cosmos glowed with unimaginable heat, billions of degrees, so hot that no atom could hold itself together. Protons and electrons swirled free, a storm of charged particles and radiation. The universe was not yet transparent. It was a glowing fog, like staring into the heart of the sun. And yet, as time passed, the fire began to cool. The universe expanded, stretched, and with each breath of space, the temperature dropped. 3 minutes after its birth, the first simple nuclei formed, hydrogen and helium, the seeds of all matter. Still, light could not escape. It was trapped in that dense fog of particles, bouncing endlessly, scattered in every direction. For nearly 380,000 years, the universe remained this way, hot, glowing, opaque. But then, something miraculous happened. As the temperature fell to about 3,000 degrees, protons and electrons found one another. They joined, and for the first time, true atoms were born. Hydrogen, helium, the simplest elements, but the building blocks of all the stars to come. And with that joining came freedom. The fog cleared. The universe became transparent. Light, which had been trapped since the beginning, suddenly streamed out across the cosmos. It spread in every direction, filling all of space. That light still travels now. It surrounds you even as you breathe, soft and invisible, stretched thin by time. You live bathed in this light, though your eyes cannot see it. It has cooled, stretched by the expansion of the universe. What began as blinding brilliance has faded into a soft microwave glow, a radiation invisible to you, but detectable by gentle instruments. It is everywhere, above you, below you, through you. The whole sky hums with it. The entire earth swims in it. This is the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of creation. The universe's first light, still echoing, still whispering, still humming. You might wonder, how do we know it's there? In the 1960s, two scientists in New Jersey Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson were building a radio antenna. They hoped to study signals from distant galaxies, but something kept interfering. A strange, persistent hiss, no matter where they pointed the antenna. They cleaned it, adjusted it, even chased away pigeons nesting inside, but the hiss remained. It was only later that they realized the hiss was not a mistake. It was the universe itself singing softly. They had discovered the cosmic microwave background. That discovery confirmed what had long been theorized, that the universe truly had a beginning, a hot and fiery birth. Before that, some had believed the universe was eternal, unchanging, always the same. But here, in this faint glow, was proof. The cosmos had a childhood, a memory, a song of its first days. When scientists map this ancient light, they find it is not perfectly smooth. It has tiny ripples, tiny variations in temperature and density. And these ripples are precious. They are the fingerprints of the infant universe, the seeds of every galaxy, every star, every planet, every living being. From those small differences, gravity pulled matter together, forming the great cosmic web of galaxies we see today. Without those ripples, the universe would be empty, a smooth and silent sea dot. So when you look up at the stars tonight, remember, they grew from a whisper, from tiny fluctuations in the afterglow of creation. The vast galaxies overhead were once soft ripples in a baby universe. And in those ripples, your own story began. There is a comfort in this thought, that your body, your mind, your life are part of an ancient song, that the atoms in your blood, forged later in stars, were first carried in the breath of that newborn cosmos, that you are not separate from the universe, but a note in its symphony. And still, questions remain. Why did the universe expand the way it did? What came before the Big Bang, if anything did at all? How did something arise from nothing? The cosmic microwave background holds hints, but not all answers. It is like an old photograph, precious, meaningful, but faded at the edges, unable to capture everything. Still, it tells you this: the universe is not silent. It carries memory, music, history in its very fabric. You are listening to a lullaby sung billions of years ago, and it still hums around you, soft as breath. Close your eyes and imagine yourself lying in that glow, wrapped in the warmth of the universe's first light. It is not just science, not just history. It is comfort, the knowledge that you are part of a story that began long before you and will continue long after. And yet, as you rest in that thought, another question rises gently. If light can travel across billions of years to reach you, if echoes of creation can still hum in your ears, what else waits in the stars? What other signals might whisper across the night, carrying meaning, carrying mystery? The thought lingers softly, not of the past, but of a message that might come from far away, unexpected, unexplained. A single star, far away, flickers with patterns no one can explain. Some say dust, some say shadows, some whisper of other minds. Its light fades and returns like a heartbeat of another world. You watch the mystery glow and fade, soft as a candle in the dark. You rest beneath the night sky, your eyes wandering across its endless spread. Each star seems constant, steady, unblinking, like small fires burning patiently in the distance. For thousands of years, people have trusted stars for their permanence. Sailors navigated oceans by their light. Poets wrote of their eternal glow, and dreamers found comfort in their stillness. But one star defies this trust. One star behaves differently. Its light wavers, dimming not once, not in regular rhythm, but in strange and unpredictable patterns. Like a candle in shifting wind, it flickers in ways that leave scientists puzzled and imagination stirred. This star is called Tabby's star. Astronomers gave it the catalog name. KIC 8,462,852. But that number is cold, hard to hold. So it is more. Lovingly known by the name of the scientist who studied it most closely, Tabitha Boyajian, or simply Tabby. Tabby's star is not close. It sits nearly 1,500 light-years away in the constellation Cygnus, the Swan. And yet, its story has rippled across Earth, pulling scientists, journalists, and everyday dreamers into its mystery dot. The discovery began with a mission called Kepler. Launched in 2009, the Kepler Space Telescope stared at a patch of sky, watching over 150,000 stars. Its purpose was simple yet profound: to look for tiny dips in starlight, signs of planets passing in front of their suns. When a planet crosses a star, it blocks a small fraction of light, a shadow, a cosmic wink. By measuring these winks, astronomers could find distant worlds. Most stars behaved as expected. They twinkled slightly with planets crossing at regular intervals, predictable and clear. But then came Tabby's star. Its light dimmed, not by 1 or 2%, as planets might cause, but by as much as 20%, and not in a regular pattern, but randomly, unpredictably. Sometimes a brief dip, sometimes a long one, sometimes several in a row. Like a heartbeat with no rhythm, its light pulsed with mystery. No planet could cause this. Not even a giant Jupiter-sized world. Something else was happening here, something that broke the rules of what stars usually do. Scientists gathered, studied, argued. The simplest explanation was dust, clouds of cosmic debris drifting between you and the star, blocking its light in shifting veils. Dust can scatter light, softening and dimming it, like smoke curling in the air. But the dips were too deep, too unusual, too irregular. Others suggested swarms of comets, icy bodies moving in great numbers around the star, leaving trails of gas and dust. Yet the amount of comets needed was staggering, and such swarms would not likely endure for long. And then came the more daring whispers. Perhaps some wondered, this was not dust, not comets, not anything natural. Perhaps it was the shadow of something built, a vast structure, a megastructure, created by another intelligence. The idea is known as a Dyson sphere, a concept imagined by physicist Freeman Dyson, a civilization seeking to capture the energy of its star, might build a swarm of giant panels, satellites, or structures around it. Such a construction would dim the light in irregular ways, just as Tabby's star was doing. The thought electrified the world. For years, astronomers had searched for exoplanets, distant suns, faint signals. But here was the possibility, however, slim, of something greater. Not just life, but intelligent life, capable of reshaping an entire solar system. Newspapers wrote about it. People dreamed of alien architects, crafting structures large enough to cast shadows across light years. For a time, Tabby's star was called the most mysterious star in the galaxy. And yet, science is careful. Most astronomers urged caution. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence, and no such evidence yet exists. Radio telescopes listened for signals. None came. Instruments searched for heat that giant structures might give off. None was found. Over time, the balance leaned back toward dust or some other natural explanation yet to be uncovered. The star still flickers strangely, but the simplest answers remain the most likely. Dust, gas, comets, or processes within the star itself. Mundane, perhaps, but still fascinating. Yet the mystery remains unsolved. No single theory explains everything. The star dims by small amounts over months, then plunges suddenly, then brightens again, as if undecided. Even now, astronomers continue to watch, to measure, to wait. Tabby's star keeps its secrets, and for you, lying here beneath the sky, the wonder is not lessened. Whether dust or alien structure, whether natural or extraordinary, the mystery stirs your imagination. It reminds you that stars are not all the same, that even in the vast, ancient order of the cosmos, surprises appear. You picture the star now, 1,500 light-years away, shining and dimming like a faraway lantern. Its flickers are soft, delicate, like a heartbeat you can almost hear. And that heartbeat carries a message, that the universe is not finished revealing itself, that every star may hold a story you do not yet know. Consider this when you look up at Tabby's star. The light you see left it 1,500 years ago. 15 centuries of history have passed on Earth while that light has been traveling. Empires have risen and fallen. Generations have lived and dreamed. And only now does that light reach your eyes. And in that light, something unusual still shines or fades. It is a reminder of how small and how grand your perspective is. You are a moment in time, yet connected to stories that began before you and will continue after. You are part of a cosmic dance, even when you do not fully understand its steps. And so, you breathe deeply, imagining the flickering of that star as your own rhythm of rest. Its dips and rises echo the slowing of your thoughts, the gentle fall into sleep. A star far away guides you, not by certainty, but by mystery. And in mystery, there is peace. For even as you close your eyes, questions linger softly. What shadows cross that distant star? What unseen hands, natural or not, shape its light? And if one star can behave this way, how many others might hold secrets of their own? The night sky is wide, and every point of light could hide wonders yet unseen. And your journey through story and science is only beginning. For as Tabby's star flickers in mystery, another puzzle waits below you, not in the sky, but beneath your very feet. A mystery hidden not in light, but in the deep heart of the earth itself. Beneath your feet lies a hidden heart, hotter than the surface of the sun. It spins, it shifts, it whispers magnetic songs that shield your sky. Yet its movements remain cloaked, a dance you can feel but never see. The earth hums with secrets that cradle your every step. Close your eyes and feel the ground beneath you. It may seem solid, steady, unmoving, a surface you can trust, a foundation you can build upon. But beneath that surface lies a world you will never touch, a hidden realm sealed away, more mysterious than distant stars. You stand on thin crust, a fragile shell no thicker in comparison than the skin of an apple. Beneath it, the mantle flows slowly, like warm wax drifting in invisible tides. Deeper still lies the earth's heart, the core, unseen, unreachable, and yet profoundly important. The core is a place of extremes. Imagine a furnace hotter than the surface of the sun, yet hidden deep beneath oceans and mountains. Temperatures soar above 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit, heat left over from the planet's birth, heat fueled still by radioactive decay. Pressures that are crushing, millions of times stronger than the air pressing gently against your skin now. It is a world beyond human reach, a world we know only through echoes and guesses. And yet, you feel its presence every day, not in sight or sound, but in the quiet ways it shapes your life. The Earth's core is divided into two realms, an outer core, molten and flowing, and an inner core, solid and dense. The outer core churns like a restless ocean of liquid iron and nickel. It moves, swirls, and rotates, driven by heat and motion. And in that motion, something wondrous is born out as the liquid metal flows. It creates a dynamo, a self-sustaining generator, producing the Earth's magnetic field. That invisible field stretches far into space, surrounding your world in a protective bubble. It shields you from the sun's harshest winds, deflects streams of charged particles that would otherwise strip away the atmosphere. Without it, Earth might look more like Mars, dry, airless, exposed. Instead, because of this hidden dynamo, you live under a sky that holds air, water, and life. The gentle compass in your hand, pointing north, is only a faint whisper of this deeper truth, that the Earth's heart hums with magnetic song, and that song cradles you in safety. Think of it this way. The Earth's core is like a beating heart, and its pulse flows outward as a shield. Invisible veins of magnetism curve around your planet, guiding birds on their migrations, protecting sailors who once steered by compass, and still today, guarding astronauts as they orbit above. Every aurora, every shimmering curtain of northern lights is a reminder of that hidden song. The glowing waves in the polar sky are not just beauty. They are the visible breath of Earth's magnetic heart. But what of the inner core, that solid sphere within? It is a ball of iron and nickel, nearly the size of the moon, but harder than any rock you know. It does not sit still. It rotates, sometimes faster than the surface above. It may shift, change, even grow as the outer core slowly cools and crystallizes. It is alive with movement, though you will never touch it. And here lies the mystery. For all we know, the Earth's core remains a place of uncertainty. No probe has ever gone deeper than a fraction of the crust. The farthest humans have drilled, the Kola super-deep borehole in Russia, reached about 7 miles, a scratch compared to the nearly 4,000 miles down to the core. Everything beyond is inferred, imagined, understood through indirect signs. Listen to earthquakes, to the way seismic waves ripple through the planet. Some waves speed up, some slow down, some bend around hidden layers. From those patterns, scientists map what lies beneath. It is like studying the body not by opening it, but by listening to the way sound moves through bone and flesh. From those echoes, we know of the liquid outer core, the solid inner heart. But details remain blurred, uncertain, debated. Does the inner core rotate evenly, or does it wobble? Is it pure iron, or alloyed with lighter elements, sulfur and oxygen mixed in? Does it shift in rhythm, or does it change unpredictably over time? The truth lies beyond reach, and so the core holds its secrets still. Yet, its influence is everywhere. Without the core's heat, volcanoes would not erupt, mountains might not rise, continents would not drift. The restless motion of the mantle, the slow dance of tectonic plates, the very shape of your world, all are driven by heat escaping from that deep heart. In every earthquake, in every island formed fire, you feel its restless breath. And beyond shaping the Earth's surface, it shapes the possibility of life itself. For planets are fragile things. Without a magnetic field, without heat to drive circulation and shield the sky, they may dry, freeze, or suffocate. The Earth's hidden furnace makes your world not just beautiful, but habitable. Pause here and imagine the paradox. The very place you will never see, never touch, is also the very reason you can see, touch, and live on the surface above. A hidden gift, sealed beneath your every step. There is something humbling in this, that the deepest mystery is not always far away in the stars, but beneath your feet. That as you search the skies for answers, the earth itself whispers secrets you do not yet understand, and still the questions deepen. Some scientists suggest the core may not be symmetrical. Perhaps one side of the inner heart grows faster than the other, creating imbalance, a slow drift over millions of years. Others suggest that changes in the magnetic field, sudden flips, and reversals are tied to patterns we do not yet see. The record in rocks shows the Earth's magnetic poles have swapped places many times, north becoming south, south becoming north. How and why this happens remains uncertain. Imagine standing centuries from now, compass in hand, and finding that the north points in the opposite direction. The sky would remain, the stars would still shine, but the hidden heart of Earth would. have shifted its song. And so, as you lie quietly, you realize you are part of a living planet. Not just a rock floating in space, but a world with a heartbeat, with rhythms, with mysteries. Every step you take above the soil is carried by a heart you cannot see. Every breath you take beneath the sky protected by magnetism is a gift from Om. That hidden fire. This knowledge is not frightening. It is soothing. It reminds you that the unseen can nurture, that what you cannot reach can still care for you. The earth is not silent, not still. It hums, sings, shields, and carries you in ways you cannot measure. And as your thoughts grow slower, softer, you let yourself drift deeper into this realization that the mysteries beneath your feet are as vast as those above your head, that you are held by both earth and sky, by depths and stars alike. The earth's core remains a secret heart, a song too deep for ears, too hidden for eyes. But its hum shapes your every moment. You rest in its warmth, even as you wonder at its silence. And soon, your curiosity will rise again, not downward this time, but outward. For if the earth hums with secrets, perhaps the universe beyond hums with them too. Perhaps in the stillness of night, another signal waits. Faint but clear, a message carried across the stars. In the still night of 1977, a signal came, strong and clear. For 72 seconds, the universe seemed to whisper, "You are not alone." No one knows who or what sent it. The sound lingers in memory, like a dream you almost understood. You close your eyes, and the silence of the night wraps around you. Somewhere in that silence, far away in the state of Ohio, a giant radio telescope once listened to the sky. It was August 15th, 1977, a hot summer evening, quiet and unremarkable, until the universe itself seemed to lean in and speak. A signal appeared, unexpected and strong. For 72 seconds, the telescope captured a sound from the stars. A burst of radio energy so perfect, so clean, that it made a young astronomer scribble in the margins of his computer printout. He circled the numbers and wrote a single word beside them. Wow! The name stayed. The moment stayed. The mystery stayed. And tonight, as you rest, you drift gently into that moment, as though you are the one listening in the dark. The signal arrives again, traveling across light years of silence, touching your ears, entering your mind. It feels like a greeting. The telescope that heard it was called the Big Ear, a wide, white metal structure that stretched across the earth like an open palm. Its task was to listen, hour after hour, for whispers from the cosmos. Most nights, it heard only static, the endless background hiss of the universe. But on that August night, the static cracked open, and something different shone through. The numbers on the data sheet weren't random. They rose sharply, climbed to a peak, then faded back to nothing, exactly as a signal from deep space would behave when the rotation of the Earth carried the telescope's gaze across the sky. It wasn't noisy. It wasn't a mistake. It was something real. You imagine yourself sitting there, in that quiet control room, watching the machine tick and hum. The signal rushes in like a sudden beam of light through a keyhole. No warning, no explanation. Just a message without words, lasting only long enough to leave you forever curious. 72 seconds. That's all. Yet, in those 72 seconds, an entire universe of possibilities unfolded. Some say it was a star. Some say it was a comet, drifting past with a trail of hydrogen that glowed at just the right frequency. Others whisper that it was something more, something deliberate, something sent. For the frequency was not random. It came in at 1420 megahertz, the natural resonance of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. If you wanted to send a message to anyone, anywhere, you would choose hydrogen's frequency. Because hydrogen is everywhere. Because hydrogen is the beginning of all stars, all water, all life. It is the cosmic common language, and that was exactly where the wow. A signal was heard. You let the thought sink in. Somewhere in the Milky Way, perhaps someone or something might have chosen hydrogen as their greeting card. The faintest hello, riding the silence, reaching us across unimaginable distances. It feels almost like standing at the edge of an ocean at night. You toss a pebble into the waves. You wait. And then, one evening, a wave returns, carrying a whisper that is not your own. Wow! The signal was such a wave. Astronomers tried to find it again. They pointed the telescope back to the same patch of sky, listening with patient care. Night after night, year after year. But the sky remained silent. No second wave followed. The pebble never returned. That is the heart of its mystery. If it had repeated, the signal could have been studied, measured, and understood. But it came only once, and then was gone, like a dream dissolving at dawn. Wow! Signal became a ghost story of science, lingering at the edge of imagination and evidence. You picture hydrogen atoms humming in the void, billions upon billions, scattered like dust across the galaxy. If the signal came from them, from a natural process, it was a beautiful accident. But if not, then perhaps, for just over a minute, you were listening to a voice not of this Earth, not a voice made of words, but of physics, not shaped by mouths or lungs, but by machines and stars. A voice that said only one thing. We are here. In your quiet mind, you wonder, how many other signals are waiting, hidden in the static? The universe is full of stars, full of planets, full of chances. Perhaps wow, signal is not alone, but one note in a great symphony, a music too vast for us to hear all at once. Imagine lying under the night sky, and every star you see is a musician. Some play loudly, some whisper, some remain silent. And once, just once, a single clear note rose from the darkness and caught your ear. It is still ringing. The United States, in the 1970s, was alive with curiosity about space. Only 8 years had passed since humans first walked on the moon. Telescopes, satellites, and dreams all pointed outward. Wow! Signal came at the perfect moment, a reminder that perhaps the moon was only the beginning, that the real conversation was still waiting, somewhere beyond. People asked, was it aliens? Was it a message? Was it an invitation? But the signal offered no answers. It gave only its brief presence, like the glimmer of a lighthouse on a distant shore. And maybe that is why it endures. You think about your own life. How many times has a moment come and gone, too quickly to hold, too fleeting to repeat? Wow, signals feel like that. A cosmic coincidence, or perhaps a deliberate nudge, reminding you that wonder does not always stay. Sometimes wonder is here for only a heartbeat, asking you to notice before it disappears. The astronomer who first saw it, Jerry Emin, never claimed it was aliens. He never claimed it was not. He only circled the data and wrote his exclamation. His single word became the label for a mystery, still unsolved. Sometimes, the most human response to the unknown is simply awe. As you rest deeper, you imagine floating above the earth, drifting beyond the atmosphere. The world falls away below you, blue and white and silent. You carry a radio receiver in your hand, tuned to that same frequency. The static hums. The hiss is endless. And then, for a moment, the sound sharpens, the line clears, and the signal arrives once more. You listen, not with your ears, but with your entire being. It does not say your name. It does not give instructions. It simply exists. A tone across space and time. A sound that traveled perhaps from another star, carrying within it the possibility of other minds, other skies, other lives. The signal fades. You are left with the quiet once more. But you are not the same. Some mysteries refuse to close. They are like open doors left ajar, showing you just enough to wonder what lies inside. Wow, a signal is such a door. Decades later, scientists still puzzle over it. New telescopes search, computers analyze, algorithms listen. Yet the original stands alone. One signal, one night, one word, wow dot. And even if it was only natural, only a comet or a quirk of space, its effect is the same. It opened your mind wider. It made you listen more carefully. It reminded you that silence is never truly silent. Wow! The signal is now nearly half a century old, but its glow has not dimmed. Each time you look at the stars, you can imagine that whisper again. You can feel its echo, woven into the night like a secret thread. And perhaps, as technology grows, as new ears rise to the sky, another signal will come. Perhaps another 72 seconds will one day arrive, and this time it will stay long. Enough to answer dot until then. Wow, signal waits. Not in the telescope, not on the datasheet, but in your imagination, the place where science and wonder join hands. The night deepens around you. Your breath slows. Your thoughts soften. You carry with you that single, simple sound from the stars, brief, beautiful, unresolved. And as you drift further, you sense that the earth itself is not quiet either. Beneath your feet, the planet has its own hidden messages, its own whispers. From within, what secrets lie beneath the ground you walk upon, glowing, shifting, shaping the very sky above? Beneath the waves, the sea blooms with light, creatures glowing softly. Some shine to lure, some to warn, some to whisper in liquid silence. Yet the deep ocean keeps its secrets close, unknown and untamed. You float in their glow, luminous, timeless. Unexplainable dot, you drift downward, as if sinking slowly into a dream. The water above you fades into a softer blue, then into velvet darkness. The ocean is no longer just water. It becomes a universe of its own, vast, unending, layered in secrets. You move through this space not as a swimmer, but as a dreamer, watching as the hidden life of the deep begins to reveal itself. In this darkness, you might expect silence. You might expect emptiness, yet instead, the ocean begins to glow. Little sparks appear first, like stars scattered across the sky. Only these stars are alive. Tiny bodies shimmer with pulses of light, blues and greens, faint glimmers that rise and fade as if breathing. The deeper you drift, the more the darkness fills with this secret fire. Bioluminescence. The word feels like a song on your tongue. It means living light. A light born not from flames or from the sun, but from life itself. Creatures of the sea carry this light inside their very bodies. They are lanterns adrift in the deep, glowing with purpose, glowing with mystery. Watch as a school of fish darts past you, each one shimmering with a silver-blue glow. Together, their light forms a ribbon, twisting and flowing like a constellation in motion. The effect is dazzling, but it is not made for you. It is made for survival. In the deep, where shadows rule, light is a language. A fish flashes its scales to confuse a predator. Another glows faintly to attract a meal. Others blink in patterns that act as signals, messages written in glimmers instead of words. You sink deeper still. Around you, the pressure builds. The sunlight has long since disappeared, but the light of living things only grows stronger. Strange jellyfish drift past, their tentacles trailing like threads of glowing silk. Their colors shift and pulse, moving through the water like slow fireworks. Each glow is a chemical reaction, a quiet dance between molecules called luciferin and oxygen. Inside the cells of these creatures, life mixes its elements and creates radiance. No fire, no heat, just cold light, a perfect glow born in silence. You pause, floating in awe. On land, you are used to light as something mechanical, bulbs, lamps, the controlled flame of fire. But here, in the deep ocean, light belongs to the wild. It belongs to creatures who have never seen the sun, who will never break the surface. Their world is endless at night, and so they make their own stars. A faint flicker catches your attention. Ahead, a small squid waves its arms, and along its body, dots of light flash on and off. The rhythm is almost musical, a slow pattern. Then a sudden burst. This is no random glow. It is communication. Perhaps the squid signals to others of its kind, or perhaps it confuses a hunter. A bright pulse that distracts long enough for escape. Light in this realm is not decoration. It is survival. Now a more curious sight drifts into view. An anglerfish hovers in the shadows. Its body is small and stout, but from its head dangles a thin rod, tipped with a glowing lure. The light dangles in front of its wide mouth like a fragile candle. Little fish, drawn in by curiosity, mistake the glow for something harmless, perhaps even food. Yet when they approach, jaws snap shut. The glow is both promise and trap. You shiver, though the water feels calm, and still you drift deeper. Here, bioluminescence becomes even more dramatic. A jelly-like creature, the comb jelly, floats gracefully by. Its body is translucent, like glass, but along its sides ripple waves of rainbow light. These are not true bioluminescence, but reflections. Light bending across tiny plates as the creature moves. It looks like a ribbon of living aurora, drifting through the water. The deeper you go, the more surreal the ocean becomes. Creatures flash, shimmer, and fade. Some glow steadily, soft. Lanterns drifting in the currents. Others burst suddenly with light, an explosion of brilliance meant to startle predators. You imagine what it must feel like to live in this endless night, where survival depends on being invisible until the very moment you choose to shine. Bioluminescence is not rare here. In fact, scientists believe that most deep-sea creatures use it in some form. It is not a trick of the few, but a language of the many. In this world without sun, light is the currency of life. And you, drifting silently, are allowed to witness its flow. Pause here, let yourself breathe slowly. The glow around you feels gentle, hypnotic. You realize how small you are, surrounded by an ocean of beings who speak with light. It is as though you are floating in the middle of a galaxy, each spark a star, each star alive. That the science of this wonder is both simple and profound. Inside each glowing creature, luciferin meets oxygen, often with the help of an enzyme called luciferase. The result is a chemical reaction that releases photons, tiny particles of light. But unlike fire, which wastes energy and heat, bioluminescent light is almost perfectly efficient. Nearly every bit of energy becomes pure glow. It is life creating light with elegance, without waste. On land, fireflies flicker in the night with this same gift. Certain fungi glow faintly on the forest floor. Yet, it is in the ocean that this ability truly blooms. The sea, after all, covers most of the earth. It is here, in the dark depths, that evolution found countless ways to turn darkness into radiance. Imagine the first humans who ever saw the ocean's hidden glow. Perhaps a fisherman far from shore, watching waves sparkle with trails of light. This is another kind of bioluminescence. Plankton at the surface, disturbed by the motion of boats or swimming bodies. To them, the sea seemed alive with fire. Stories must have risen from such nights. Tales of spirits in the water, of stars fallen into the waves. Long before science explained molecules and reactions, the glow of the ocean carried wonder. Now, you drift into one of those glowing patches. The water around you shimmers as if stirred with starlight. Each movement of your body sends ripples of light spinning outward. You stretch your hand, and it looks as if galaxies spill from your fingertips. The effect is breathtaking, like holding creation itself in your palm dot. In this glowing silence, you feel a kind of peace. The creatures around you are not trying to impress, not trying to dazzle. They are simply living, following rhythms written. In their genes, pulses of light passed down through countless generations. Yet to you, it feels like a performance, a cosmic ballet danced in water instead of air. You wonder what else hides here. Deeper still, there are fish with glowing bellies that match the faint light above, making them invisible from below. There are shrimp that release glowing clouds into the water, like smoke made of light, to confuse predators. There are worms that wave radiant frills, and squid that eject bursts of glowing ink. Every strategy, every trick, every shimmer, survival painted in illumination. The ocean keeps most of its secrets. Even today, much of the deep remains unexplored. We know more about the surface of Mars than about the abyss beneath our seas. And yet, every time humans dive deeper, they find more light, more species that glow, more signals we do not yet understand. Bioluminescence is not just beauty. It is a reminder of how much remains unknown, how much life continues to thrive. Beyond our sight, you close your eyes for a moment, listening to the silence. In the darkness, the glow still lingers on your eyelids. It is as though the ocean has written its story onto your memory, a slow, soft tale of survival and wonder dot as you drift upward. You realize that bioluminescence is not just a trick of the sea. It is a symbol of life itself, the ability to create light in the deepest dark, to shine even when surrounded by shadow. Perhaps that is why humans are drawn to it, why we find it so mesmerizing. It is a reminder that even in the darkest places, there is brilliance waiting to be seen. You rise, leaving behind the glowing creatures. The ocean grows lighter again, though you feel a part of you has stayed below in the company of those quiet lights. And as you near the surface, you wonder, if the ocean holds such radiant mysteries in its depths, what other hidden worlds of light might exist in the universe above? Spirals of stars whirl in impossible ways, faster than math can allow. Something unseen pushes them forward, holding them together. Gravity bends, twists, resists, and your thoughts drift with it. The cosmos reminds you, not all is known, not all is solved. Close your eyes. You are drifting now, weightless in a quiet sea of stars. The Milky Way stretches around you like a soft ribbon of light, a spiral unfurling into the dark. Its arms curl wide and slow, like the turning of a dancer, patient and eternal. And yet, as you watch, something feels strange. Something stirs beneath the beauty, a rhythm that does not fit. For centuries, astronomers believed they understood how galaxies should move. The outer stars, far from the central bulge of glowing suns, should drift more slowly than those near the heart. It is the natural order, the rule of gravity as we know it. The closer you are to mass, the stronger its pull, the faster you circle. Planets obey this law in our solar system. Mercury races around the sun in just 88 days, while Neptune, far beyond, takes 165 years. By all logic, galaxies should follow this graceful decline, stars slowing with distance, fading into the edges like leaves carried by a gentle breeze. But when telescopes peered closer, when patient observers mapped the motions of stars in spirals like our own, the universe revealed a secret. The stars did not slow down. They moved too fast. The edges of galaxies spun with unexpected vigor, holding together when, by rights, they should have scattered into the void. You breathe, slowly picturing this. A carousel turning in the night, children at the edge racing as swiftly as those near the center, though nothing visible drives them forward. What holds them? What binds them? The question hums softly, like a note that will not resolve. It was in the late 20th century that this mystery crystallized into something undeniable. Astronomer Vera Rubin, with quiet persistence and unshakable clarity, charted the motions of spiral galaxies. Night after night, she gathered their light, measuring how stars on the rim bent the glow of hydrogen gas. Her results were clear, simple, and astonishing. Galaxies spin too fast for the matter we see. Something unseen must be there, something heavy, something vast. Otherwise the stars would drift away, torn loose like sparks thrown from a wheel. Imagine her sitting in the silence of an observatory dome, the red light of instruments painting her notes. Outside, the universe moves as it always has, unaware of the puzzle it presents. She looks not just at the light of stars, but at their rhythm, their speed, their secret music. And in that rhythm, she hears the echo of something invisible. Scientists gave it a name, dark matter, not because it is a shadow, not because it is sinister, but simply because it does not shine. It does not glow, does not reflect, does not speak to us through photons, the way ordinary matter does. It slips through, space unseen, like a ghostly scaffold holding galaxies together. Every spiral, every cluster, every dance of stars seems to whisper its presence, though no eye has caught it directly. Pause with this thought. You are surrounded, even now, by this unknown substance. If dark matter is real, it fills the Milky Way like an invisible halo, washing through the room where you rest, flowing softly through your own body, passing without touch. It is everywhere and nowhere, silent yet essential, a hidden ocean in which all visible matter floats. Without it, galaxies could not exist as they do. Without it, the universe would be a looser, emptier place. You drift in this mystery. The idea that most of the cosmos, perhaps 85% of all matter, lies beyond our senses. Think of that number. For every star you see, every planet, every grain of dust, there are 5 times more hidden in the dark. The night sky you look upon is only a faint outline, a sketch of reality drawn in luminous ink. The deeper truth, the vast bulk of existence, lies just beyond your sight. Some have tried to explain it otherwise. Perhaps our understanding of gravity itself is incomplete. Perhaps the law that guides falling apples and circling moons bends in subtle ways when stretched across cosmic distances. Maybe the universe is teaching us that even the most trusted rules are not final. That knowledge itself is a spiral, curving outward into the unknown. And so the question lingers, is it matter unseen or gravity misunderstood? Is the cosmos full of invisible mass, or is our picture of space and time not yet whole? You let the question rest in you, like a stone at the bottom of a still pond. There is no hurry for the answer. Science, like the stars, turns slowly. Each observation, each theory, each experiment is a ripple that spreads, widening the circle of understanding. The mystery remains patient, waiting for the next hand to reach toward it. Now picture the galaxy again. You are far from Earth, suspended above a spiral disk of 100 billion stars. The arms stretch wide, glowing with the pale blue fire of young suns and the deep red embers of dying giants. Clouds of gas and dust weave like gauze across the lanes of light. And beneath it all, holding every star in place, is something you cannot see. A hidden hand, a quiet strength, a presence that refuses to reveal its face. This is the poetry of science, the willingness to admit what is not known, the courage to sit in the dark and still listen. The universe does not owe us clarity, yet it offers glimpses, patterns, clues. Like footprints on sand washed by tide, the evidence lingers, suggesting a story half written. And you, resting now, are part of the same story. Your body itself is made of star matter, carbon, oxygen, iron forged in stellar hearts. But beyond that visible lineage, you are also immersed in the hidden, touched by the unseen ocean of dark matter. It hums through you as it hums through galaxies, silent, constant, unresolved. Some imagine dark matter as particles, small and elusive, slipping through detectors in deep underground chambers. Others picture exotic fields, invisible threads that weave the cosmos. Still others wonder if it is a signpost pointing to an even deeper truth, a hint that the fabric of reality holds surprises not yet dreamed. Whatever it is, its effect is undeniable. Galaxies move too fast, and yet they hold. Together, refusing to fly apart. You breathe slowly, and in your breath, you mirror the patience of discovery. The truth may not come tomorrow, nor in your lifetime. But the mystery itself is a gift. It teaches humility, it sparks wonder, it keeps the human mind awake beneath the blanket of stars. For now, let yourself drift deeper into the spiral. You are a witness to cosmic motion, a quiet traveler through hidden forces. The stars above and the ground beneath both remind you, much is unseen, and yet it shapes all you know. The pull of gravity, the weight of the invisible, the dance of galaxies that should not be, they guide you softly through the night. And as your thoughts settle, as your body grows heavy with rest, one final question glimmers like a distant star. If the universe holds so much we cannot see, what else waits, quiet and patient, just beyond the reach of light? Your body rests, but your mind begins to wander. Dreams rise like waves, full of faces, places, and impossible stories. Science maps the brain's lights, yet cannot touch the meaning of its night. You drift deeper, carried by mysteries within. Your own self. Close your eyes. The room around you fades, and the soft rhythm of your breath begins to guide you inward. Your body, heavy with rest, sinks deeper into stillness. But your mind, your restless and radiant mind, is not bound by the quiet of your muscles. It begins to wander, opening doors you did not even know were waiting. This is the beginning of dreams. Dreams rise like tides in the night, sometimes gentle, sometimes stormy, always unpredictable. You know the feeling. One moment you are in your own bed, and the next you are walking through a city that never existed, or standing beneath a sky painted with colors no sunrise has ever revealed. The mind invents whole landscapes, whole histories, in an instant. It weaves faces of people you have met, and people you have never met, into stories that feel more real than reality itself. Why does it do this? Why, when the body is at its most? Still, does the brain choose to create its most vivid theater? Science has tried to follow the trail. Researchers place electrodes across a sleeper's scalp, mapping the tiny electrical storms that dance in the night. Machines hum and screens glow with signals, showing bursts of brain activity, flashes like stars in the dark. They see patterns. They measure rhythms, and they give names to the stages. Light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. In REM, the rapid eye movement stage, the brain lights up almost as if you are awake. It is here, in this secret storm, that most dreams appear. But mapping is not the same as understanding. The scientist can see the firefly glow of neurons. They can measure when the body is paralyzed, so you do not act out your imagined journeys. They can even predict when a dream will arrive. And yet, the meaning, the why of it all, slips through their fingers like water. Dreams are not only science, they are stories. They are memory, emotion, fear, desire, all stitched together in ways you cannot control. You may dream of a place from childhood, but it blends with the voice of someone you spoke with only yesterday. You may find yourself chased by shadows or flying across oceans without wings. Each image is drawn from something you have known. And yet, the combination feels entirely new. Your brain is a weaver, and the loom never rests. Threads of memory are spun into strange patterns, and you awaken wondering, why did I see this? What is it trying to tell me? Some scientists believe dreams are the brain's way of clearing clutter, sorting through the endless details of yore. A conversation, a passing worry, a forgotten song, all tumble together in the night, rearranged into stories that never happened. Others think dreams are a rehearsal. Your mind, in its quiet theater, practices survival, fleeing danger, solving puzzles, testing choices. It is as if evolution left behind a private training ground in the darkness of sleep. And still others whisper that dreams are nothing at all, just noise, sparks of neurons firing without purpose, like static on an old radio. But if that were true, why would they feel so full of meaning? Why would a single dream sometimes stay with you for years, as vivid as the day it was imagined? You remember, don't you, a dream that clung to you long after waking? Perhaps it was a dream of someone you missed, their voice alive again in your ear. Perhaps it was a dream of fear, the kind that left you breathless in the dark. Or perhaps it was beauty, a dream of colors, of places, of peace so profound you wished never to leave. Dreams touch you, even when they vanish by morning light. The ancients thought dreams were messages. Some said they came from gods, others from the dead, others from the deep self that only speaks in symbols. In old temples, priests waited to interpret them. In villages, elders told stories of visions and omens. Even now, in your modern world of satellites and microscopes, part of you wonders, could dreams carry secrets your waking mind cannot grasp? The science of dreams leans close, but does not answer. It measures, it categorizes, it explains the when and the how. But the why, the heart of the mystery, remains untouched. And maybe that is why dreams still feel sacred, still feel like portals to something beyond explanation. Notice how the dream world ignores the rules of waking life. Time stretches and bends. You might live a lifetime in the space of a minute. You might leap from mountain to mountain, or breathe underwater, or speak languages you never studied. The boundaries of physics, of memory, of logic, all dissolve. Inside a dream, impossibility becomes ordinary. And yet, in the moment of dreaming, you believe. Your mind does not question the strangeness. It walks through impossible doors, as though they were always there. Only upon waking does the spell break, and you smile or shiver or sigh, wondering what it meant. The truth may be this: your dreaming mind is the part of you that refuses limits. It takes all you have seen, all you have felt, and lets it flow into shapes that daylight would never allow. It is the reminder that even in silence, you are endless. Sometimes, science whispers of lucid dreaming, those rare nights when you awaken within the dream itself. You realize you are dreaming, and suddenly, you can choose. You can fly. You can step into oceans of starlight. You can speak to people who are gone, or to strangers who never lived. Lucid dreamers call it freedom, a playground of the mind. And yet, even here, mystery lingers. What does it mean to be awake inside the dream? Is it imagination, or is it discovery? The edges blur, your breath slows, your heart moves like a quiet drum, and you wonder, if dreams are so vivid, so powerful, then what is the true difference between waking and dreaming? If your mind can create whole worlds at night, how different are those from the world you walk by day? You drift with that question, letting it soften into you. The ocean of sleep carries you further, deeper, where thought gives way to vision. Perhaps your brain is practicing. Perhaps it is remembering. Perhaps it is reaching dot, and perhaps, most beautifully, dreams remind you that you are more than flesh and bone. You are a story. You are imagination. You are a being who can live in more than one world at once. No scientist, no philosopher, no poet has yet solved the riddle of dreams. And maybe they never will. Maybe the meaning of dreams is not to be solved, but to be felt. Like the sound of wind through trees or the shimmer of moonlight on water. It is not an answer, but an experience. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, your mind prepares to wander again. To places unknown, to people unseen, to stories only you will ever know. And when morning comes, the dream may fade like mist, but the feeling will remain. The quiet wonder, the reminder that in the deepest night, your mind is infinite. So you breathe in, you breathe out. You let the gentle question carry you, unresolved yet comforting. If dreams are maps, where might they lead you next? In the quiet of your thoughts, awareness itself glows. No machine, no measure, can yet explain the spark of being. Consciousness is a river, flowing, reflecting, alive. You rest by its shore, watching it shimmer in silence. Close your eyes. For a moment, the world outside dims, but another world awakens. This inner space has no edges, no horizon, yet it stretches farther than galaxies. Thoughts flicker and vanish. Feelings ripple like wind across water. Memories rise like bubbles. From the depths, and through it all, there is something watching, something steady, something that says, I am. But I am, that sense of being, is what we call consciousness. Science can measure the electrical sparks inside your brain, tracing the signals that leap from one neuron to another. It can map brain regions that light up when you see a face, hear a song, or remember a childhood moment. Yet, no matter how detailed the scans become, there remains a question science cannot pin down. Why does all this activity feel like something? Why is there an inner movie, a personal experience, a secret theater inside your mind? This mystery is sometimes called the hard problem of consciousness. Not hard because it is complicated. Many things in science are complicated, but hard because it touches the very core of existence. A cell dividing, a star exploding, a planet orbiting. These can be explained by forces, by equations, by physical laws. But awareness? The sensation of being you? That is a puzzle that lies beyond calculation. As you breathe slowly, think of your mind as a river. The water flows, carrying images, ideas, sensations. Sometimes the river is calm, a mirror of the blue sky. Sometimes it rushes, turbulent, full of noise and storms. Yet always, underneath, there is the current, steady, deep, unseen. This current is awareness itself. Neuroscientists know much about the surface of the river, the ripples and waves. They can describe the networks of the brain that shape perception and emotion. For example, the occipital lobe at the back of your head translates patterns of light into sight. The auditory cortex near your temples turns vibrations of air into sound. The hippocampus files memories away like a quiet librarian. And still, something binds all these together. Sight, sound, memory, feeling, woven into a single tapestry of you. That weaving is consciousness. But how does the fabric form? Why? Does the light not remain scattered pixels? The sound not remain raw vibrations? Why do they become a world inside your head? Science has not answered fully. And so you drift with the question, like a boat floating on water too deep to measure. Some thinkers compare consciousness to the glow of a candle. The wax and wick are the brain structure. The flame is the mind's activity, but the light itself, the awareness spreading softly into the dark, is something more. It illuminates everything it touches, yet you cannot hold it in your hand. Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. René Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." But perhaps it is simpler. I am aware, therefore I am. For even when thoughts fall silent, when no words or images rise, awareness remains. You notice the silence. You notice yourself noticing. Modern science has tried to frame consciousness in new metaphors. Some imagine it as an orchestra, where each instrument is a brain region, playing together under an invisible conductor. Others see it as a symphony without a conductor, just patterns emerging naturally from billions of neurons humming together. Yet still, the sound of the music, the experience of hearing, remains unexplained. In the United States, where questions of mind often meet both science and spirituality, consciousness has become a bridge between worlds. On one hand, researchers in labs use fMRI machines to chart brain activity. On the other, everyday people seek mindfulness and meditation, turning inward to explore the landscape of awareness directly. Both paths circle around the same mystery, like travelers walking opposite shores of the same river. You might wonder, why does this matter at bedtime as you rest? Because each night, when you slip into sleep, your consciousness transforms. It does not vanish, but it shifts. In dreams, your mind invents stories, whole realities where you live, love, fear, and explore. And when you wake, you carry the memory of having been there. Dreams prove that consciousness is not fixed. It is fluid, flowing into shapes beyond logic. Imagine floating above a sleeping city. Lights twinkle in windows, but behind each window is a dreamer, and behind each dreamer is a consciousness. Each unique, yet all mysterious in the same way. Billions of little flames, glowing, aware. Some scientists propose that consciousness is not something brains create, but something they tap into, like radios catching signals from the air. Others believe it is an emergent property, that if you build a system complex enough, with enough connections, awareness naturally blossoms. And still others wonder if consciousness is woven into the very fabric of reality, as fundamental as gravity or light. Each idea is a door, opening into a room without end. You rest in that room now. Think of the small acts of awareness in your day, the taste of warm tea, the sound of a bird calling at dawn, the memory of someone's smile. These may seem ordinary, but they are extraordinary. Each is a ripple across the vast ocean of consciousness, a brief wave that proves you are alive. Awake, aware. And what of the self, the you at the center of experience? Neuroscience suggests that the self is not a single thing but a process. Your brain gathers memories, feelings, sensations, weaving them into a story. That story changes over time. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago, nor the person you will be 10 years from now. Yet through all the change, you feel a thread of continuity. A voice inside whispers, "This is me." That whisper is part of the hidden flow. Pause and notice your breathing, the rise and fall of your chest, the way air brushes the back of your throat. In this moment, you witness your body. You witness your thoughts. But who is the witness? That quiet observer has no shape, no size, no location. It is the still point at the center of all motion. Some traditions call this observer the soul. Others call it pure awareness. Science does not name it, only studies its patterns. But you, in this gentle night, can simply feel it. It is the part of you that never sleeps, never dreams, but always notices, even when everything else fades. The mystery of consciousness reminds us of humility. For all our knowledge, all our technology, there are realms we cannot chart. To ask, what is awareness? Is to stand at the edge of a vast sea, hearing waves in the dark, knowing there is more than we can ever sail. And yet, perhaps that is the beauty. If everything could be explained, life might lose its shimmer. But consciousness, the hidden flow within, ensures that wonder never ends. Every moment of awareness is a gift, unwrapped again and again as long as you breathe. So, you drift now, following the current. You rest on its banks, watching thoughts pass like clouds. You know that you are more than the clouds, more than the river, more than even the question of what you are. You are the noticing, the stillness, the glow. And in that glow, another question stirs. If consciousness is such a mystery within you, what might awareness look like beyond you? What if the universe itself is awake in ways we do not yet understand? The universe expands, yet beyond it lies only wonder. What is outside the outside? What is before the before? You are small, yet vast, a listener of eternity. Sleep comes as the stars remind you. Mystery never ends. You lie still, as if floating. The night is quiet, yet in your mind, galaxies move. Stars wheel in silence, rivers of light stretching across a sky that feels endless. You breathe slow and deep, and with every breath you drift further from the ordinary world. The walls of your room fade, the familiar shapes dissolve, and suddenly you are suspended in space itself, looking outward into an expanse that has no boundary. The universe spreads before you like a great tapestry of stars. It is expanding, always expanding. Astronomers tell us that galaxies are racing away from each other, as though space itself is stretching. Imagine dots on the surface of a balloon. As the balloon inflates, each dot moves away from the others. None of them are at the true center. Every point sees the same expansion. So it is with the cosmos. Everywhere you look, galaxies drift farther into the deep. But then comes the question that tugs gently at your thoughts. A question so vast, it feels more like a tide than an idea. If the universe is expanding, what lies beyond its edge? Close. Your eyes. Picture a horizon on Earth. You walk toward it, but it always retreats. The edge is never an edge, only another stretch of land, another curve of sea. The universe may be something like this, without boundary, without edge, endlessly unfolding. Yet the mind, craving edges, craving limits, asks anyway. It whispers, beyond everything, what waits? Science offers glimpses, but no final answer. Some theories suggest the universe may curve back on itself, like the surface of a sphere. If you could travel far enough in one direction, you might eventually return to where you began, not by turning, but by going straight. Others imagine a multiverse, countless universes, each sealed within its own space-time bubble, like foam upon a cosmic sea. Perhaps beyond our universe lies another, and beyond that another still, worlds stacked like shimmering pages in a book too large to hold. The thought is dizzying, but you are safe here, drifting, listening, wondering. Time itself becomes part of the mystery. You wonder, what was before the beginning? The universe, as science understands it, burst into being 13.8 billion years ago. In that instant, all the galaxies, all the atoms, all the light and shadow were contained in something impossibly small. Then it expanded, cooled, and formed stars, planets, and eventually you. But what was before that instant? Was there a before? Or is time itself something born with the universe, like a river that has no spring until it suddenly appears? Some scientists suggest that before the Big Bang, there was no time at all. No before, only silence. Others wonder if our universe is one of many, born from cycles of expansion and collapse, like breath itself. Inhale, exhale, cosmos after cosmos. As you listen to these possibilities, your thoughts drift like a ship across still water. You are not searching for an answer. You are resting in the question. And sometimes the question is more soothing than certainty. Look around you now. Stars glow at impossible distances. Some of the light that touches your eyes tonight began its journey before humans even existed. Imagine that, a photon of light. leaving a star billions of years ago, traveling across space with no purpose, only movement. And tonight, at this moment, it reaches you. You are the edge for that light. You are the place where its journey ends. In that way, you realize you are part of the story of the universe's edge. For the universe is not just out there, it is also within you. The atoms in your body were forged in stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all were born in the furnaces of ancient suns. When those stars exploded, they scattered their elements across space. And slowly, over billions of years, those elements came together, forming Earth, oceans, trees, and finally, you. So when you ask what lies beyond the edge of the universe, you are also asking what lies beyond yourself. You are made of the same mystery, the same stardust, the same unknowable origins. The night deepens. You let your breath slow, syncing with the rhythm of these thoughts. Beyond the galaxies, you imagine vast darkness, but not emptiness. Perhaps beyond lies something we cannot yet name. A new physics, a new dimension, or perhaps simply the continuation of wonder itself. You picture it like a shore hidden by mist. You stand on the edge of the sea, the water stretching before you. You cannot see what lies across, but you feel its presence. The unknown is not frightening here. It is soft, inviting, like the silence before dawn. Astronomers use telescopes to peer back in time, catching the faintest whispers of light from the early universe. They detect cosmic background radiation, the afterglow of creation itself. It hums faint and even, like a memory woven into space. Yet even this light cannot show us what lies beyond the edge. At a certain distance, the universe becomes opaque, hidden, unreachable. And so the edge is not just far away, it is also a boundary of knowledge, a horizon of understanding. Every generation pushes it a little further, yet always the horizon remains. But maybe that is what keeps the human spirit awake, searching. The edge is not a wall. It is an invitation. As you rest in this thought, you realize that the question of the edge is not only cosmic, it is also personal. In your own life, you meet edges of knowledge, of courage, of love, of time. Sometimes they frighten you. Sometimes they humble you. But always they invite you to grow. The universe, in its endless mystery, mirrors the mystery within you. You drift deeper, as though the stars themselves are singing you to sleep. Their light is ancient, their distance immeasurable, yet their presence is simple. They shine. They remind you that the unknown need not be solved to be cherished. The question of what lies beyond the edge does not need an answer tonight. It is enough to feel the wonder, to let the mind float across possibilities like clouds across a sky. Maybe there is another universe waiting. Maybe time itself folds in ways we cannot yet see. Maybe the edge is only an illusion, like the horizon, always receding as you move closer. You breathe, slow and deep. The darkness around you feels vast, but it also feels like home. You belong to it as much as it belongs to you. And though the universe stretches beyond imagination, you are not separate from it. You are its listener, its dreamer, its witness. Edge remains unsolved, unbroken. Yet you smile, because mystery is not a barrier. It is a companion. It walks with you, whispers with you, rests with you as you drift into sleep. And just before you let go into dreams, one final thought drifts across your mind. If the universe is endless, then perhaps questions are endless too. And maybe, just maybe, that is the most beautiful truth all. And now, our journey for tonight gently comes to a close. The stars continue their silent song. The universe keeps expanding, and your thoughts can now rest in stillness. If this story has brought you calm or stirred your sense of wonder, I invite you to stay connected with this growing circle of dreamers. A simple like lets the world know you enjoyed the journey. A gentle share may bring peace to someone else who needs it tonight. Your comments are like small constellations. Each one adds light, each one a voice in the darkness, reminding me that we explore these mysteries together. And by pressing subscribe, you keep your place in this voyage, so that each new chapter finds you wherever you are, whenever you are ready. This space is more than just a channel. It is a resting place for minds that wander, for hearts that wonder. And your presence here makes it hold out, so as you drift towards sleep, let tonight's questions linger softly. Let them settle like starlight on the surface of your mind. And when the next story arrives, you will already be waiting, ready to step once more into the mystery, calmly, gently, endlessly. Until then, breathe deeply, dream freely. And remember, the universe is vast, but so is the quiet within you.